Welcome everyone to another open source live stream. Looks like we are live. Yeah, amazing news. I released the work of the last month. I thought, so 18 architectures. Of course, I could spin each month some set of ISOs, 18 the last time from Alpha over Intanium to RISCV, but probably makes no sense to have such waste of storage, and new sites would take us even less seriously. So it's mostly RISCV enablement here for the previous videos, RISCV unmatched, and everything is working. We could even, well, everything except the retime clock. They still have not sent me the datasheet. If someone from Sci-Fi 55 watches, hey, I would write you RTC driver for free, but where is the freaking specification? And yeah, code name, of course, stuff needs code names. I lovingly codenamed the Rebel Alliance because why not? Obviously, cool releases need cool code names. Previous video, we now can cross-compile Qt5, OBS Studio, and a whole bunch of more, lots of stuff. And I tried to test this yesterday or so. This stuff in T2 cross-compiled on RISC-V is now so amazingly working as per usual, even with well, not Xorg, Qt has some strange whatever hiccup there, whatever, but it works with Wayland and Sway, even OBS Studio and capturing and video and stuff. The only thing is, I had here previous video, the AMD GPU, right? I needed some other cheap thing, so I brought for 25 euro, you know, the GPU market. By the way, I really start to hate the PC or mostly GPU market, man, what a shit. Yeah, 25 euro, obviously I didn't expect that to run Crysis or 888 Gamings, but, and I did a little bit research, right? I don't order some random junk, so I yeah, a little bit Googling this and for certainly not NVIDIA for open source drivers, but this R5 Pro, so I got here, I also have my previous video, some Radeon, so 8570 something, which more reports like a Radeon R5 740, I think, OLED Pro, 1 gig of memory, and stuff. And for Linux desktop and Firefox and YouTube and stuff, it's even enough, and it would even be enough for YouTube live streaming, right? I don't even have that high expectations. I can work with a Spark Station 3 486. Just give me 40 megahertz or something, unless I'm YouTube live streaming. But this is a freaking only card from AMD. Who would have guessed that the last decade doesn't come with a video encode block there? So it doesn't have video VEC or something, video encode stuff. It's like, I mean, okay, granted, before I YouTube live streamed, I also didn't need that. It's always like, yeah, this is video encode rubbish, whatever. But now the only freaking thing I actually need, yeah, that comes from buying 25 euro worth of, yeah. So now I need to see if I bite into that bad apple and get a Radeon 5070. I actually was thinking whether I should get a, for cheap, I was actually thinking to get a, like workstation. The problem is, even like RX 580 stuff, super overpriced. I mean, some people new sell 580 or so RX 580 for freaking 600 or 800 euros. For that you get a Radeon 6700 XT, and even that is overpriced, right? Even that is double the recommended sales price there. This is hilarious. Yeah, let's see. Maybe I get in 5700 because it's certainly not shelling over $1,000 for freaking GPU only for video and code block. So, right, I also wanted to say, so I was considering some WX workstation class, AMD WX 2000. The problem is, in the office I have the spare 560D, which is okay for YouTube live streaming, certainly not for Crysis and AAA gaming. And the problem is WX 2100 is similar performance, similar class, and the crazy thing is they still sell for around 100 something 50 euro, which is insane, right? They sell basically for nearly the same price as released. And so I was considering a 4,000, I think 4,100. But the problem with that is it's not really that much faster than my spare test 560D in the office that I otherwise use for YouTube live streaming, but also goes used on eBay, like not that used on eBay for freaking 240 euro. And then I simply was thinking, for me, for my business, for our employees and our YouTube live stream testing, it's a third of a 5,700. And as much as I hate to shed out 600 something, 700, not 600, 700, 750 euro for a freaking 5,700, this market is just bonkers insane, right? But yeah, it's a third. So should I get an used WX 4100, which would probably be enough? I hope it has a video encode block. Even 2021 or 2018, you can't even be sure that your video card has a freaking video encode block ASIC there. Then I was thinking, okay, maybe, sure, it is cheaper, right? 240 euro used on eBay, but it is a third of a 5,700, and I need obviously something faster eventually. So yeah, maybe we do that. Just a little bit rounds up here. So yeah, otherwise T2 release, amazing stuff. I didn't live stream everything. I did a lot of additional improvements and like cross-compiling this and that, and also some libva debugged here on RISCV, some libva until I realized, nah, dude, it doesn't even have the freaking encode block. Listed on DistroWatch as per usual. We are a small niche Rebel Alliance distribution, so the Imperium usually doesn't report about us. Still working on that. I wonder what more we need to do than supporting PS3, SJ Octane, and freaking RISC-V stuff for big, formerly AAA news sites to pick up. Anyway, let's also do some work. This is just the vlog of how this happened. Maybe more interesting actually than actually the work. Work-wise, we have, I took a look into WebKit GTK. Also soon I do some more level stuff with RISC-V ARM, PowerPC Spark in QEMU. And the crazy thing is, I wanted to take a look, so this is a release. Can also, all right, and we did a whole bunch of cleanups. The last videos, even there I continued off the camera. I'm certainly not live streaming each random stuff, just connecting with the community, and yeah, probably should somehow find more ways to allocate my time. And I got patches, thanks for that already. I will merge this later. Certainly amazing. And yeah, WebKit, so the thing is, we don't have Firefox yet, although theoretically I slightly wonder what are we even missing. I slightly wonder, we could try this live on YouTube. I've not tried that. But this is also the thing, right? A lot of the stuff. And one thing, the T2 Rebel Alliance release 21.7 is the first release that has more commits by data. I think, yeah, this is also in the news here. I mentioned this in the press release here. So our data AI bot contributed 164 changes, and Asmer Mortal Humans 141. So that is a first, and certainly how I even can spend so much extra work improving other stuff simply by having data do all the update work stuff. If I get an, of course, AMD Radeon even 6700 XT totally overpowered for this RISC-V, I wonder, because certainly bottleneck with CPU copying USB data and stuff. And thankfully it has DDR4 and PCIe 3. I wonder, because I mostly wonder how many frames we would get if when I plugged in the USB video class camera HDMI capture thing in there. It was not the most fluid. It showed like OBS with Wayland and CPU load of something 10-20%. Actually, not too bad. I just wonder how many, with more DMAing and copying data buffers and rendering stuff together. Not sure. Probably there's some CPU cycles involved that probably don't do this all on GPU. how many frames if we would reach 20 or even freaking 30 frames. That would be actually freaking interesting. And yeah, this is, by the way, still running from the RISC-V. Uses the thin client here, small stuff. This also explains why I want a freaking web browser. And as I started to say, this is also what takes the time, even simply experimenting with stuff and see what's happening, right? Because certainly RISC-V is not yet supported there. All right, you know what, why we can't? I don't even need to try that because Firefox, this is a thing, it needs Rust, and Rust does not yet have RISC-V, at least not with llvm clang. All right, you know what, so much stuff to do actually. I mean, the crazy thing is I could just live stream stuff all day. It's just like, I also need to earn some money, feed the family, man. Because there are llvm, I just remembered there's llvm updates. Because the thing is, llvm upstream does not yet support RISC-V. We could take a look into that. Let's grab, like, where would we have that is full. Let's default packages. Do we have? No, we don't. The full name in there because we need to iterate over all packages. Coffee. Cheers. So that's basically the summary of the last days. I hope you appreciate that. Certainly should get back to AAA. I have the feeling I repeat myself, right? More AAA edited videos. So, grab llvm in all the package desk, which also previous video I massively cleaned that up. Is it llvm.org? Massively with SAD. I even, for the sake of education, I even, with Unicode stuff, I even commit this with the shell fragments for other people, so like automatically merging stuff and removing some stuff, moving small files over to the desk file, so on. I think that is probably pretty nice improvements. So we actually want llvm project, and then probably I usually use the usual shell tools: cut, delimiter, space, field 1, field 2, no, field 3, and then while do. Actually, it's good to pre-test that update. So that would be we can substitute this in one. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to do in shell, but substitute. We have f there at 12.00 source star x set to 12.01 done, and that probably looks all right. Let's run that. And yeah, a pity that they released it. Like, I mean, it's not the most important, but would have been actually cool to have that into the 21.7 Rebel Alliance release here. But let's take a look into download llvm. I am pretty sure, but I could be wrong. ISML in place SCT. No, there is some RISC-V already. Unit test, interesting. Why did I, or is it Rust? What do we even have here? llvm. Oh, we only remove Motor 68K. Interesting, actually. What did we build then? Because I only look into that because Rust, llvm, yeah, we even have clang. Actually, interesting. Do we have? Do we have? Oh, this is in llvm. Defaulting. Actually, no, we have this wired up. Interesting. Why do I not have? Rustc. Okay, here we have that somehow disabled. Let's see what happens if we try to bootstrap. But here's a sheer complexity also, there is a typo. Darn. The sheer complexity, why I'm not the biggest fan of that is that you need so many components. I only have LLVM clang. Yeah, LLVM we need for Mesa also as 3D drivers for the most part, or for some anyway. And then for Firefox, otherwise we just for that, if we want to have a freaking browser. Although maybe I should, yeah, but Chromium, recurring criticism, depot tools and checking all kinds of stuff behind my back. Not the greatest fan of that either. Let's see, maybe I regret tempfs for debugging issues. Let's see what happened there. But probably I disabled that because it wasn't supported, otherwise I usually only disable stuff and it freaking doesn't work. Did we download all? I guess. Let's let's test build that in x86. Oops. Do we not have clang in there or whatever? Let's see what happens. Yeah, for the micro nano kernel, that is not vaporware. We will continue with that soon with low-level examples. I also have some, well, I already auctioned quite some vintage stuff on eBay. I have it already stacked in the office. So we will do in some weeks some more AAA videos and some more main channel with some vintage stuff and vintage programming, hopefully. And then also with QEMU. Starting new code with QEMU for RISCV and ARM or PowerPC, maybe even Spark. And the more I think about this, the more I will not in a year or two have feature parity with the Linux kernel. I'm not that insane. And the more I think about this, I really, well, I always preferred keep it stupid small, keep it stupid simple, KISS, keep it stupid simple stuff. And the more I brainstorm and the more I see the Linux open source ecosystem with all the dependencies, and you need even two compilers, right? Firefox wants clang with cbind gen and Rust, and I wonder if you could theoretically maybe patch that away, but I also don't have that much time to patch each and everything I don't like away. But maybe for one thing, keeping it stupid, simple and small and beautiful is always a nice thing. And like this one Albert Einstein quote of, probably should Google that, of minimalism, of taking stuff or making stuff simpler. How's it? Simple but not simpler, something. Just 1 second. Everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. Should make great quotes in science, as I write there. And I totally agree with that, because as you see, the more complex the stuff is, it breaks, bugs, security. Same for instructions and architecture, x86 versus RISC-V. But also here, right, you need so many, this sheer amount of stuff to get, to make most of the stuff work is just crazy. And then also bootstrapping new like RISC-V, it's like, yeah, you don't have a browser until you have Rust and Cargo and Clang. Actually, to my surprise, what are we doing here? I did this already. All right, this was this, what do I even have here? This is, no. But this was oh, here we go. Recurring theme, 60% keyboard and Why do we not have one Rustc? Should we not have one? What if I run here even? Strange. Should I cancel that or slightly wonder why? Actually, it's a good pro tip to usually control set stop stuff and not cancel, because then you use your preciously used CPU cycles. RISCV, what have we built here in terms of, why does it not build? Should we not have a cross compiler? Or maybe, right, I think I moved this on now the complexity of, right, okay, okay, that is actually correct. But that would be first. Maybe they just recently added that, maybe, or previously. I'm not sure what happened there with this stuff. But anyway. But yeah, with the nano microkernel, this is of course, well, for one thing, using my 20% time to make amazing T2 Linux releases, and for the other time also needing to best always brainstorm some months or years before you actually create a monster Frankenstein stuff. And so what I want to try to achieve is deduplicating drivers in terms of early boot and bootloader stuff, and have one nano microkernel combination there of running the same drivers for the boot process to get away with the bloody EFI BIOS, because making stuff as simple as possible, obviously. And then also with compiler, like ideally only have like one compiler infrastructure, maybe, just because I'm dreaming also about this tiny, just like Lua JIT, just like maybe maintainable and more portable or something. And yeah, and also graphic drivers, right? Not to having one VGA BIOS thing there for the BIOS or EFI, and then other drivers or simple Linux kernel drivers, and then more. Yeah. Anyway, that will be fun. So, okay, this isn't what they do. Error loading. Okay, they don't have an RISC-V unknown Linux GNU specification, so much to that. So that really didn't build. This is certainly why I disabled that. Thank you very much. So that indeed, because we needed that, we only tried to build that for Firefox. Amazing if you use each and every language and feature in your browser, right? Download mirror R, download mirror Rust. What do we have there? 53. Let's see what we find here in. Actually, there is plenty of. There is even RISC-V support in there. Oh, what they name this? Are you freaking kidding me? They name this RISC-64GC? Oh, no. You can't make this stuff up. So that is really unfortunate, because I had, so the problem is we need to name the target differently. You know what? I think we patched this, because I had this already with ARM, and if we name this target differently, then other open source packages will break. And if we have another target name, then I had this with ARM already, 32-bit ARM v7 whatever something, and that doesn't match with Firefox, and then Firefox, at least for the ARM case, didn't find that. So 64 GC, they I mean, of course, mean like generic integer stuff, and compressed. So this is like base either, what was it? I think this might combine IFD or something of that sort. Yeah, that is really a crazy thing. Or should we? The problem is if we what a cluster F. What a clusterfuck, really, this is so hilarious. I so hate this. They have here even llvm target, so they have their own fucking, for God's sake, target and translate this to RISC-V 64. Like, seriously, what the F? Yeah, the problem is if we configure with that, I saw this causes so many headaches. I think maybe the easiest thing to do might be to symlink this, either copy or symlink that, and see what happens. And we probably need this 2 times. Arch, I mean, they even call this RISC-V. I mean, this is also hilarious. It's like, not like it would run on anything not 65 GC. I guess we can already commit this updates here. Or actually, on the other hand, as we pretend to be professionals, maybe we actually wait for no real harm. We're waiting a little bit for that to build. Then let's, the second row, build in a row, let's build with tempfs disabled. Maybe I should have done this first, but no. And then at least, so this non-elf is probably for firmware. Let's see what happens. The thing is, I neither architectured that, nor even if those people architectured that in Rustc, probably would know off the top of their head, so even they would probably have to try. Wait a second, this is even. Oh no, this is. Why do I have what I have? Wait a second. I have here RISC-V. Why do I have here RISC-V when? What? Sometimes I'm surprised myself over stuff here. I really wonder if we could get a Java, like not jitted thing and working in. Where do we? We do this probably should work like that, so that we can patch this, so that I want to copy like vendor this stuff. Let's hope that works like that. So that would be, I think this was GC, oops. And so that is of course without typing the path twice. We're using the shell expansion here, and so GC to not GC. Oops, shit. We could double check. I previously had a 486 patch in here. Probably that, and also with typo. Shit. Sometimes I post-mortem fix stuff there. Okay, this was in specs mod RS. Good that we checked. Maybe we need to patch that. Was there one more? Maybe we need to patch that for Rust to recognize it. Did it delete this already? No, there it is. Ah, shit. So that was somewhere in Rustc target like spec mod RS. They renamed this in the meantime. I know this because obviously doing that on a daily basis. So something with spec, probably like either this, probably this. Huge fan of Unicode stuff. So RISCV. Yeah, I guess I'll do. Where's the second coming from? Actually, maybe it would have been enough to... Could actually check that. But that's also what we need in Epic Threadripping AMD Ryzen 4. Let's do 32-bit as well while at it. And theoretically some other day we need to patch this music stuff in there as well, but yeah. For those who are late, oh wait a second, we also want the RISC-32. Do we use RISC? Oh, okay, we use 32, okay. RISC-V, so... Oh wait a second, did I edit this already? Maybe I did, huh? For those who tuned in later, if we don't patch this, it might be more of a nightmare to configure this. Oops. That is what you want an alias to ask nicely. I also need to learn to run in the Unicode locale. So yeah, let's see how much that does. Yeah, I guess we can test that. Hey, and llvm clang probably built, so that is also good to go. So the only thing is that it takes probably 10 minutes, unfortunately, because yeah. So yeah, Patreon and membership, GitHub sponsors and stuff, and OnlyFans if you want that we have a Threadripper sooner than later for that to test bit faster. That also means we can remove already, well, in the hope that it hopefully maybe works, we can remove 32-bit variant there as well, because why not? What do we build there even? Okay, that didn't take long. What am I even freaking? Ah, one Rust, this is why it doesn't autocomplete, that explains the thing. Build failed, no, thank you very much. Must be defined only once in this type of namespace to this module, yeah, thank you very much. Support to targets, how long this is defined multiple times, yeah. Huge fans of hand editing patches, so then let's do that here. I mean, theoretically we probably could also patch the other one. 2 times the charm here. So welcome everyone. Hope you like this. I mean, it's a little bit unexpected actually. You know what? We always digress a little bit. Is digress the right word? Is it? Should I not to say? That is a word, isn't it? Yeah, digress. Leaving the main subject temporary in speech or writing. I think that fits very well. The other one would probably procrastinate here. But yeah, win-win situation if you're wondering why do I do this crazy live streams. There's just so much to do in the sheer complex open source world, and as much as actually freaking quirking and patching our, yeah, of course it still doesn't work. Why does it still not work? Because what I actually wanted to take a look at is how much more is needed to get WebKit GTK built as a fallback when we don't have Firefox. What does it want here? It still doesn't like this. Not found in, cannot find target in module, RISCV 32 unknown. Had to create the module, create specs. What do we somehow find not found for module risk? Do we still patch that wrong? Or maybe you know what? Did I only copy? I think I only copied the Rustc. So amazing! This is compiler notices everything they find. Rustc conf. Yeah, so we want that twice actually for. But yeah, happy to read that you like this live stream. Here behind the scenes of the most open Linux distribution. Let's make this tab. Maybe I should configure my vim so that it taps that. But, so 32 and 32. Oops. Let's better hope that finally freaking works. And then let's digress with WebKit. So the crazy thing. Let's leave that for this Rustc. Let's leave it there for a moment. The crazy thing where that I built that into the system because I'm crazy. Temp fs is off. Because I didn't even see from the build error. I tried this last night. WebKit GTK. I also updated this already, but of course it didn't just build because dependencies and stuff. Modern dependencies. I think it's CMake. At least one of those. Maybe it has multiple build system supports. Who knows? Because what's better than one build system is two build systems. That probably both fail. Let's see, what do they have here? Okay, this is only CMake because whatever. And the crazy thing is, I didn't even see what, so it like a required package wasn't found. So yeah, thank you very much. It doesn't even tell, yeah, modern build systems, so much more amazing than GNU autoconf. Yeah, not the greatest fan of GNU autoconf, but at least for the most part, you can at least debug that. But yeah, it says here at the end, a required package wasn't found. It's like, yeah, what the freaking heck, which? I thought maybe, because here's call stack find libsoap, but I thought I have libsoap. If it's this one, I have here some libsoap. So yeah, where is the? Right, I think it's in CMake files maybe. Or yeah, CMake output log. Is that not amazing to read this stuff to find determining if? Okay, this doesn't look like. Maybe we need error. But yeah, that is a future. I cannot find pthread create. Is this CMake link scripts? Is this libsoap or ILD gold? Why is it? Do I default to user bin LD? Do we default to gold? The last time we didn't. I thought. Alright. Also, this shouldn't be a hard link. This, in my opinion, should be a soft link. Okay, this Rustc is still building. So maybe it's using gold, the gold linker explicitly, or maybe it auto defaults to that if we use LTO. Not sure. Maybe. But this is also not libsoap. This is pthread. But yeah, this is also why at times I'm a little bit negative. But in my opinion, also realistic with the sheer complexity, dependency and stuff. Like, in my opinion, this is not normal that you like CMake. I mean, I don't understand how people can like CMake. In my opinion, it's not the most amazing build systems. Like, yeah, once we had 12 sucking build systems, now we have 24. Autoconf and Make and Mason and Ninja and Gem and God knows what else. Yeah, in my opinion, this is not how it should be, that you need to read freaking log files to understand what was not found there. Also, I tried to grab this, but this is also not entirely systematic. Here are it's like found here, but it's like also required. I mean, why does it print out required? It found GTK, and you can't even like search for required because it is also all over the place. So yeah, I mean, the most logical thing would be that here. Maybe we should is it maybe it should be that, right? But in my opinion, it could also be more clear than this is hard to read. Libsoap does not provide an easy way to retrieve a version other than its PC file, so we need to rely on. I mean, it sounds like this failed. What version does it? Libsoap. What is it now? Not defined Libsoap version. No Libsoap version found. Find version 291. Yeah, Rustc is so amazing. It still builds on a freaking previous videos. Water-cooled Derbauer offset plate for better cooling, for better boosting, undervolted for better boosting. World's fastest memory. I think probably maybe previous video, and it's like, yeah, it's still building. What do we have here? We have soap. Okay, this is some old stuff. And we have soap and Libsoap. Okay, this is 299.8. Maybe that is the issue. Maybe we should have 3 or... Okay, either it wants 3.0. Maybe that is the issue actually. But apparently there are also multiple versions of this stuff. Does it still not out? Not sure. Maybe it does still not out. Okay, maybe this is the wrong directory. Libsoap. Where does it? Ah, it says to. Let's see what we get there. Yeah, and this is why. Yeah. I want eventually a browser on the RISCV desktop. So what do we... Okay, they have 299. That is... Looks like 221. $299 is the newest tier, so maybe we should we be on 266 then instead of this? Oh, hey, here's something built. This build, can you believe? We have a Rust compiler. Let's build. Also, you don't see this because I'm more. Thanks for. Oh, I watched my own video. We should probably stop that for performance reasons. Thanks, Danny. Welcome. So toolchain tools cross. Where do we have this cross? Either here. Then probably. Also, that is the wrong file. Hey, it does something. Did this use... Ah, darn, this defaults too. Okay, fine, whatever. Should this build with... Do we have more? Or we also have... What's this build with target equals 64? Nah, that does not much. Which one was it? This? Linking with CC failed. Okay, this is also the wrong CC zone. It outputs some RISCV stuff, so not sure if this works entirely perfect, but I mean, we probably could commit this, commit early and commit often. Huge fan of that, not to accidentally wipe something or forget about it. Correct. Let's see for our regular RISCV 64 target tracked without GC. What this was? GC correct Rustc. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, whatever, something. The bigger question is what happens with Firefox. Of course, they for sure don't have JIT yet, at least not in the main repository. Let's see what happens. Not high hopes, but who knows? Maybe they surprise us. Maybe with disabled JavaScript stuff. So, WebKit. So they want less than 2.9, so let's probably try, if we're not rocking that on some potential developer version, would be lib soap to 66.1 or something. What was the latest there of to 66 5. Oops, best without typo. What is still not? What did we do there? So 266. What have I? Ah, 4. What did I? What? Did I say one thing and type another? Happens at times. So, of course, Firefox fails. Something. Please build config h. Please add support for your architecture to build config h. Okay, fair enough. Maybe one of the first people to try to compile Firefox. Happened to me on a recurring basis the last 2 decades. What might be a first? Let's see. But yeah, certainly not porting Firefox in one live stream. Not IPC Chromium. What the heck they have here? Seriously? Oh, shit. Yeah, said this previously, that certainly a week long, if not months long, depending on. Yeah, so there needs to be some more enablement to no one's surprise. I wonder slightly, but as usual, time and money and stuff, I wonder how far we would get if we would try to build a mostly like assembly and jitless version there. Let's revert that for now. What that also doesn't want to build because, thank you very much. Yeah, sometimes I need to YOLO that until, do we have here? So it says we request GSS API. It's not really that we are here. What we even have GSS API false, so don't really see us requesting that. What do we even configure with? Oh, we configure with Meson, did we? Meson not. Why is this not in this Meson? Is it even the right? This is the third failed pass with Meson from 50. Have Apache, PHP, some compiled, no. Get option GSS API. What is Valor? Okay, that could do something. It's only working the theoretically. This should be wired up to more options. In my opinion, this should build if you don't want these dependencies. But for now, why does this not var append Meson opt? Yep, but that's basically it. I don't know, built. Not sure what was there a typo, was it commented out? What did I have there? Or did package? No, that doesn't have Meson options. Not sure why this I wrote out like that. So yeah, maybe this version for now, maybe this is stuff you never know, but I guess that is some unstable 3. Let's give WebKit GTK one more try. I don't have high hopes, it will probably not need the next thing. GTK, I'm only curious. The problem with this GNOME stuff is dependencies, complexities, you guessed it already. Also a year ago, this Monster Marathon live stream. It's probably not even that much more lightweight than Firefox after you build all those gazillion dozens of dependencies. So that would be WebKit GTK. Now it wants VPE at least. So do we have some VPE? We have lots, but not always everything. So yeah. Leave in the comments below what browser would you prefer. But this is the crazy stuff. People always performance and stuff. If you write for normal stuff like HTML, network stuff, security, without assembler or at least fallbacks like generic C code, C++ code, then this would just build. But yeah, also it needs this defines. This Firefox defines of 32-bit and whatnot. Actually, theoretically, how long are we live? Yeah, of course, 1 hour. I mean, we could see how far we get if we add there some defines and see how far it compiles. But given its segmentation faults even on partially supported architectures like Spark and PowerPC and stuff, I don't even have, at least this is Little Onion, so. Yeah, I would wonder how far we get if we add there some architectural defines. I could also Google if someone else has already done that. But yeah, for WebKit and GNOME, there's after 6-7 hours a year ago video of Monster Marathon packaging stuff. So yeah, dependencies, and in case you're wondering why I'm longing for simplicity and minimalism, which would probably, as I said in the beginning, be a recurring theme for my microkernel and nanokernel work. So that would be Firefox RISCV. Add support here is even, maybe we can pull that out of their Bugzilla to save us some work. Type defect, what do we have here? Steps to reproduce, Fedora being bootstrapped, no kidding, something. Comment on resigned as an SPI module, sorry for the inconvenience. The patch was correct, what, 4 freaking years ago? Finally submitted by the macro was dropped, replaced by background this. So yeah, 4 years. I mean, why can they also not pull this earlier, right? Updated patch has been attached there. Where is the freaking patch? And type ls. Tab definitions for RISC-V architecture. How old is this patch? 2018. Yeah, I really wonder what the Mozilla Foundation is doing, in my opinion. Upstream has reviewed and accepted it for inclusion into the upstream NSPR. That was 2018. But maybe NSPR is another one then. We have here NSPR and maybe we still need the other. Do you even see that? Probably only in part. Let's see, does Kate work here? Hey, Kate works. Linux conf, and okay, this is NSPR though. Does this look like it should be upstream? Might be another place in the build system. Do we have NVI? Oh, we have NVI. So that would be IPC Chromium, because you can never have too many IPCs, obviously. Oops. So if defined, I think it was RISCV. Empty file, that's fine. RISCV probably should do. So, not sure what it does. Maybe it needs more code then. So, that just copying here some. This is also. Do we have that xlang or either that or atomic something? Yeah, theoretically that. I mean, not that it would matter right now, but theoretically. If defined. Does this work like that? Maybe. How did we build this? A promise? Was this already Mach or? Oh, this already started. Was it Mach build? Maybe. There was. Wait a second. Was it another one? Ah, shit. There was thought already. Stop. This web RTC, probably similar. Because why should you have that once? Yeah, let's copy and paste it. completely different indenting style. Starting to port Firefox to new architecture, only live here on this channel. Yeah, don't want to finish with that today. It is certainly, well, theoretically. Dr. Schubert says Debian ships PowerPC Epiphany, but it's buggy. The Graver asks, do KDE GNOME on Linux even work without systemd login? Well, we can use I sometimes use the FreeBSD code path, like if dev not systemd stuff, if at least as far as I remember. This also failed, thank you very much. But yeah, that is the thing, not the greatest fan of that either. I mean, you could always patch this stuff more away, like others do, but yeah, not a fan of systemd complexity for so many reasons. Could have guessed, right? Here's one more. Or did we not do that already? No min line. What importing due to previous errors? Unresolved import. Super min line? What the freaking heck? I thought I did that though. Not sure what's... Yeah, but this is... Not sure. Maybe this is simply... It could simply be our Rust cross-compiler not working as expected. Looks like this could work now. Maybe this... The problem is always with old build errors. It could have been from the previous build. But between so many warnings, it is yeah, manually finding an error. Yeah, recurring theme, keeping stupid as simple as possible. Recurring software development, hold our beer, not with us. It looks somewhat like that. This is 179 though. Did I? No, I did my arch. Oh, did I patch that wrong? Yeah, this comes from copy and pasting somehow, whatever I've done there. Oh, shit. Probably excessive pressing on keys, but this will probably not fix the other thing, most likely, I guess, maybe. Maybe this is, or I'm not sure how Firefox calls it, if they call this with Rustc dash, probably they call it with Rustc dash dash target something. The problem with this parallel build stuff, also, yeah, we have 24 sucking build systems that all suck differently. The problem is it could have already been failed, and I think I saw a failure there already. And yet this goes on forever and ever because amazing build systems. Dash asks, why is it so hard-coded, the system architecture? Yeah, also, this is not my style, in my opinion. Most code doesn't even need to check anything. You can, 99% of the stuff you can do way more elegant. this regular code at the compiler level, not this preprocessor. And this is just old style school that people keep repeating for decades without watching, sharing, and subscribing to this channel and listening to my tips. Leon asks, what's big goal working on native RISC-V kernel? What do you mean with native RISC-V kernel? The big goal is, well, multiple goals, of course. One thing is, of course, building additional sources of income or new, like also more fun sources of income than just dealing with our commercial exact scan and OCR-Kit customers at exact code. And doing new things, because doing scanner drivers for 20 years also becomes a little bit boring, some would say. And so one thing I have, of course, T2 distribution and this YouTube channel. I need to work on this stuff anyway if I want to keep it up to date. Native kernel is, of course, I meant video encoder, yes, the Graver. Thanks for that. So the next big goals will, of course, be much cleaner code, because this kind of code gets on my nerves. But on that way, we have some maintenance to do on a daily basis. And for one thing, well, native, this is already a RISC-V native Linux kernel. We will also do new nano microkernel stuff for RISC-V and others, because this is already native, but I actually would like a web browser. So that is the thing, actually. So let's, but that is soon, that for this, no error here, thank you very much. At least I was calling, excuse me. The unified CPP DOM base rules, what is that in DOM base 4? Where would the error be? Nah, not immediately visible, thank you very much. But yeah, otherwise, the Leon writes, so Firefox doesn't run. Firefox does run on very little, not even on PowerPC 64 or Spark, on most other stuff. For the most part, a lot of software written in clean C and C++ and Rust can just be compiled. But one thing is, of course, either you build your code infrastructure as old-fashioned as that, and you need to have new defines all over the place. But the other thing, the big thing is, of course, JavaScript engine. So everywhere where you just in time compile code. So that is, maybe nobody has done that. So that would be a big thing. But it's even so, yeah, of course it doesn't run there. It also doesn't run properly on PS3 or Octane, because Mozilla has pockets to do and VPN and stuff, and leaves porting to us and Debian users and stuff, because porting to new architecture is a hobby project for Mozilla that people need to do for free here, live on this channel, obviously. Oops. Maybe, I'm pretty sure I didn't press there. Maybe that is a USB. Maybe. So this is, of course, not much and very little. I just wonder currently what the error is. Maybe we do a clean build, actually. Oh. Typing too fast for keyboard and USB and stuff. Let's rebuild that just to get a better picture of what the actual next error is. Could be the Rust, minimal, whatever that was. Leon's useful to work on Servo, built on Rust, so it should easy compile, more or less. Well, I personally will not work on this big project, because this code is way too cumbersome and big and too big to fail for me. I also don't work on this big projects like for free. I was considering we could like make a crowdfunding here too, like, but I would like if we work a month or two for some serious RISC-V porting, think also JIT, that certainly with industrial country salary levels would be like at least 5,000 US dollar euro a month, like the Linux M1 ARM port or something. Don't think we will get so much together though, which is why I resort here for this Patreon, GitHub sponsorship and YouTube membership and super chat and live streaming and advertisements and stuff. This is only some early look, right? It's just some 10-15 minutes of how far do we easily get, what big picture is missing there. Where is it even in? Yeah, but recurring theme also. No, there was something. There is still more build config though. Did we not patch that? Why does this not? Chromium source build config 100. Why does this not? We patch IPC Chromium, we patch that. Build, so IPC. It could be that the error is actually still caused by that, so. I slightly wonder, can we run simply mach /j1, because usually this stops better at the error and doesn't needlessly forever. But I think we still have two things, so we have here super unresolved import min alloc. This might be imperfect. Yeah, the problem with this were both, I don't, yeah, not visible how they call this RISC-V stuff there. So we should have underscore RISC-V, or maybe the second comparison for Xlan doesn't. Compare though. RISC-V Xlang else. If defined, I think this should work. If defined. The thing is, that is also why it's good to have some other architectures around. Maybe I should simply probably compare that with ARM and PowerPC, where that in theory, or ARM at least also works. This must be really hard to debug issues in the build system. Yeah, especially this custom build systems where you need to first understand how you even debug print. I once was looking 30 minutes just to properly debug print or something. So that works, but that produces a x86 binary. couldn't find RISCV unknown. I think they don't have GNU. No, unknown RISCV. It was GC, so what? RISCV GC unknown. It had some list targets, whatever the. Print target list, of course. Print Rustc. Print. Of course, it's like that. Right. What did I type there? Unknown. No, it is Linux GNU. What did I type then? Risk unknown. Linux. Oh, this was the wrong way around. Yeah. Okay, so this still doesn't work. What the heck? Why does this not? Source IPC Chromium source build config h. Is there a second file or what? Source build. Sometimes it's best to just copy and paste this stuff to check for typos or second files. No, this is this one. 130 L F defined. What the heck? Also I think I have a typo there. So 6 to 10. Let's just try this for the fun of it. What is happening here? So they run CC. So why do they just run CC? How do you specify that? Or what would it want to run? It's probably not as easy as that. We could see what it tries to run with strace. Well, at least maybe. No, it runs, wait a second, tools cross, it runs lib rust. Why does it run that now? Maybe I better have a second build there and debug that first. I thought that might should work. Maybe there is some generic Rust stuff not fully patched that I need to double check before wasting my time with other stuff. Yeah, the Graver also loves Chromium with its 900 megabyte source table, and that's probably not even counting all the stuff that the depot tools will check out and load behind your backs. It's, so what is happening there, or is there more happening? At least my hand edited patch applies. Yeah, this failed already, so this still fails the same. Yeah, so the other issue might be gone. The question is, how far do we get? We could wait. I mean, it's still wasting our precious CPU cycles building other stuff in parallel. Also, this failed already. Oh no, it failed for good. Let's see. This is also the next. Oops. Build failed hash globe. Is that the only thing? Or? Maybe that is the only error so far then left. Theoretically, we could see if commenting that in works. I think it should. So then I will probably build another reference build where this was working, namely copy RISC-V 64 to ARM 64. Build a whole ARM64 build just to see how Rust behaves there, if this is expected behavior. Maybe simply our just patch Rust is not up to proper operation here. That probably should do, and is anyway a good thing to test some ARM and other builds at times. So yeah, that's it for the video. Have to run. Hope you learned something. As usual, at least some maybe libsoapsaner version, RISC-V initial Rustc cross compilation enablement. Maybe the first steps to get Firefox built and WebKit GTK, yeah, more dependencies. As usual, if you want to help, load this, play along at home, send some patches, updates, improvement, missing packages like whatever, libge, whatever, something was there for WebKit GTK. Making T2 a better Linux distribution every day here, and I hope you learned something, and to see you soon for all the next fun stuff like that to come.